Subscribe to my channel for more stories like this. I never imagined a single day could completely flip my world upside down. The kind of day that knots your stomach, makes your hands sweat, and forces you to replay every moment you once thought was innocent. My name is Ethan, and I've been married to Sophia for 8 years. 8 years filled with laughter that came easily, late-night heart-to-hearts, cozy nights spent curled up together, and those subtle glances that used to set my heart racing. At least that's what I thought. Sophia always had this magnetic spark, this energy that seemed to light up every room. Her eyes, bright and lively, the mischievous half-smile. The way she could turn an ordinary evening into something extraordinary. But over the past year, things started to shift. It began subtly. She'd pull away when I tried to hug her. Her phone would be mysteriously face down or just out of reach. Her laugh grew rare, and she would drift off mid-conversation. When I asked if something was wrong, her reply was always the same. A shrug and a quiet, "I'm okay." But I knew okay rarely meant anything good. I began keeping track, not obsessively, but with quiet, careful attention. Late nights at the office, missed calls, hushed phone conversations I overheard accidentally. It all added up. And eventually I discovered the truth. Sophia was seeing someone else. Caleb, a coworker. On the surface, he seemed harmless enough, polite, clean-cut, maybe even charming if you didn't know better. But I knew exactly how deep it had gone. And I made sure he would regret ever crossing into my life. That evening I walked through the door with a calm I hadn't felt in months. Like a weight I hadn't realized I carried had finally lifted. Sophia was in the kitchen, humming softly, the warm light from the pendant lamps glinting in her hair. She'd changed into something soft and comfortable, completely unaware of the storm that had just entered. When she looked up, her eyes met mine directly, no phone, no distractions. Then she did it. Stepped closer, that familiar move that used to make my heart race, whispering my name as if nothing had happened. For a fleeting second, I almost fell back into the old routine. But I didn't. I stepped back, relaxed my hands at my sides, voice steady. "I know about Caleb," I said. The kitchen went quiet, the hum of the fridge the only sound. Her eyes widened, not in shock but in fear. That easy smile she always wore vanished, revealing the first cracks in her carefully maintained facade. I let the words linger, then added, "And I already dealt with him." Her body stiffened. Her fingers trembled just slightly. I hadn't yelled. I hadn't thrown anything. I had been patient, deliberate, silent until the exact moment. Caleb had thought he could invade my marriage without consequence. He was wrong. And now Sophia was about to learn the same lesson. She swallowed, eyes darting away from mine. I didn't need to speak. The silence did the work. I could almost see her mind racing. Panic, regret. The realization that she had miscalculated entirely. She had assumed my calm nature was weakness, that my patience and steady presence made me blind. Every secret, every hidden glance, every night spent elsewhere. It was all about to catch up with her. Inside, I was a storm of emotion. Betrayal cuts deep, but it also clears the fog. I didn't need tears or excuses. I needed her to feel the weight of her actions. Her lips moved as if to speak, then closed. That small, familiar gesture she had tried earlier now seemed like a desperate attempt to rewind time. I shook my head slightly. This wasn't a moment for forgiveness. It was a moment for understanding. Actions have consequences, and broken trust cannot be magically repaired. I held her gaze, letting the silence convey what words could not. Her mouth trembled but no sound came. For years I had carried the weight of our life together. Working late to keep the bills paid. Managing the details to make her life easier. Believing that love alone was enough. But love crumbles fast when respect is absent. She had traded ours for cheap thrills with Caleb. I stepped closer, not threatening, just present. "Do you understand what this means, Sophia?" I asked, voice calm, almost gentle. Her shoulders curled slightly. Guilt impossible to hide. Her choices were never small mistakes, they came with a cost. And I had made sure it was paid. Her eyes flickered with fear. Not of me, but of the reality I had created. Caleb wasn't just humiliated. He was ruined. Her carefully constructed secret life had collapsed the moment I stopped pretending to be clueless. She opened her mouth, stammering, "Ethan, and stopped. There was nothing left to say. No excuse sufficient, no apology powerful enough. I let another beat of silence settle, heavy and final, then softened. I'm not here to destroy you, Sophia. I just need you to understand some boundaries can't be crossed. Once they are, nothing returns to how it was. She nodded slowly, tears forming but not falling. We stood in silence for a few minutes. She twisted her sweater sleeve nervously. A habit that once made me smile but now just hurt. Memories of our future plans, hallway kisses and quiet nights together flashed before me. And in that moment I realized the betrayal had given me clarity. I didn't want someone who loved me only when it was convenient. I wanted someone who respected me, who cherished what we built instead of sneaking behind my back. When she finally spoke, her voice barely audible, she asked, "Are you leaving me?" I let the question hang before answering, calm and certain. I'm leaving because I finally understand that love without respect isn't love. I won't stay where my heart is dismissed, and my trust is trashed. Panic crossed her face. She stepped forward hesitantly, but I didn't move. Everything she thought she controlled had slipped away. I grabbed my coat and walked to the door. Each step was heavy yet liberating. She didn't call out or stop me, just stood frozen in the wreckage of her own choices. The lesson hit me hardest then. Real power doesn't come from anger or revenge. It comes from staying calm, seeing clearly, and refusing to be treated as an option. The cool night air felt fresh, carrying the faint scent of lavender she planted last spring. For the first time in years my chest felt light. The lies, the doubt, the ache all gone. I was steady again, not because I fought, but because I stood my ground and chose myself. Caleb had learned his lesson the hard way, and I finally knew my worth, non-negotiable. Sliding into the driver's seat, hands on the wheel, I breathed slowly, the quiet street and open sky above me. For the first time in years I smiled, the real smile. Not from winning, not from others losing, but because I had taken myself back. The storm was over, the night was mine, and I would never settle for anything less than honesty and respect again.